Hi, everybody, and welcome to today's Viva Alive podcast. I'm here with Daniela Lemos, my fabulous co host, and I'm Dr. Terrie Hope. And today we're going to talk about changing your reality. And how cool is that? And I thought what we could start with, Daniela, is a lot of people don't know what the word reality means. Would you like to open with that, or would you like me to?
Yeah, you can start, and after that, I'll go ahead.
You can fill in the blanks of places I miss out on. Okay. So reality is what is real.
Wow.
And you go, because you go, reality, what on earth does that mean? But basically, it is what we have as real, what we make as real, and how we see the world that creates the realness or a perception of the realness that's there. And it's kind of interesting because most people function from the world that they see as what they get. They can't have anything more than that. This is the way that it works. And mostly it's kind of like a very solid perspective. However, you can change what is real for you, and you can change the reality that you live in. So you actually function beyond what your life was before you changed it. So, what did I miss, Daniela?
Yeah, I think it's an interesting topic. For me, changing my reality does not mean escaping the life that exists. I think not that it means waiting for something magical to happen. Changing my reality, changing your reality means changing the way I relate to what I am expecting, because reality for me, it's something when you expect something, when you see something, you come with your perception about the situation. So change my reality began with me, inside of me. After I can change outside.
Okay. And that's interesting because that's about how you respond to the world. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, thank you.
So, well, I'm interpreting like going, okay, is that what she really said? Like, but it is. It can be changing a reality can be how it is that we respond to the world around us. Because we do
Yes.
have our own world, how it shows up, and then we have the outside world, all the people we bring in, all the situations.
Hmm.
And in case it's not in everyone's world, what we have as a reality, we actually create it.
Exactly.
Oops. So if you have stuff showing up in your world that's not working, there's some part of this on some level, in some way. It doesn't even have to be relevant to this very moment, cause and effect. But there's some part of it that somehow you've brought it into existence.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly. Yeah, I think the interpretation, it's a good point when you say that. Because, for example, when two people can experience exactly the same situation, the experience is completely different for each
Yes.
people. When you change your perception, you begin making different choices, for example. So for me, this is a very important point that I start changing my reality because I have changing a lot.
Well, and it can be changing all the time. And that's a great thing. It doesn't have to be jumping out of this into this, like a some people do here. I want to change my life, but they never choose to change anything because they think that it's like crossing this big gap where they don't know who they are or what they are, and something bad might happen in between when they go, here, I'm going to change something. It's funny. It's a perception that a lot of people have that who am I going to be if I move to this new way of living? If I have more money, how is that going to be? If I start standing up for myself as a person, oh my gosh, like there's this big like we lose ourselves in the middle of it. But do we? What do you know, Daniela?
No, I'd like to hear about you. If it is possible, you really change our reality, continues to be the same people and the same choice and the same interpretation of our situation with the same
Hmm.
person and friends, or we are going to create the same always,
The same, the same. And so when you talk about changing your reality,
the same reality, right?
yeah, sorry, they were just delayed a little bit. Must be the internet.
Yeah,
So when we talk about changing your reality, it can be the same as it always has been, and our perception of it can change. Or what if it could be completely different?
yeah. Sorry, I think my internet is not good, but
It's
yeah,
okay. If it goes off, I will pick up the slack for you.
thank you. But oh, yeah. Um, I have seen that many people don't believe it's possible to change the reality and the way that they have always been like this. So I have to continue to be like that, like this. So yeah,
Hmm.
and for me, sometimes we need is necessary to open space for uh, thoughts, um, our interpretations about the life or the situations for change my reality.
Hmm.
So yeah, but I think it's possible when you uh, when you are open for this new situation.
So what comes up for me about that? Because I think we did an episode on choice recently. And so when you look at wanting or asking to change how your life is showing up for you, there's a piece of it that's in there that is about choice. Because if you would like your life to be different, if you want to change your reality, at some point you have to choose a different reality. And it doesn't mean that there has to be choice in part of it. People go, "Oh, I don't understand why I don't have a new lover showing up in my life, and I've been asking for it for so many years, and it's not showing up, and I'm so sad, and it's not working, and la la la." And I'm like, "But have you actually chosen that your reality you would like to include somebody new?" Okay, perfect. That's and it's like you're adding a relationship to your life. It doesn't necessarily mean that it changes your reality. It's just adding somebody to their life.
Yeah, yeah. I think I have an interesting question for this.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Who do you need to stop being to create a new reality?
Who do you say this again, hon?
Who do you need to stop being? Can you?
Who do
Yeah,
you need to stop being?
yeah, because we usually want to a new life, what we while remaining exactly the same person, the
Oh,
same,
yeah.
right? And the same justifications. And so I think it's different when you want to create a different reality, requires a different identity sometimes.
Mhm. Well, what if that's a great idea. And what if what it is that is the change that you're asking for, the possibilities that exist? What if what they are is removing the releasing and removing, I don't know how to put that, but the things that you have bought as true about you or about a situation. And it's like taking off another layer of the parts that are not you, that you've made as you. And then the thing that is truly you starts to shine through, which then creates a different reality for sure. Because when I think about this, like by example, because I know it's like you need an example sometimes to get a sense of what this is, because it's a lot of metaphorical stuff. But by example, you were, whoever's listening, were brought up by at least one parent. You had a mother, likely had a mother in your life,
Mm-hmm.
and father, and you adopted some of their characteristics along the way, their patterns of thinking, what they think is valuable, what they don't think is valuable, what they think is right, what they've decided is wrong. And along the line, you pick those up as though they were as though they were you. You just mirror them. You look at them,
Yeah,
you see them, you go, oh, that's what having no money looks like.
the same
And
behavior,
I'm
right?
right, money is a good example. But
Mhm.
this is what it is, and this is how you get money, and this is it's okay to have no money, even if that might be their perspective. We're good if we live in the socioeconomic range that we're in. Could be, let's say, your parents' perspective, right?
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. I think you mirror the same behavior,
Yeah,
and you
sort
sometimes don't believe you don't believe you can change the situation in your choice. It's
yeah.
only, yeah, it's not about big decisions, big choice, but you can do different choices every day and for changing your reality. Yeah, you have courageous. Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, if it was a scenario where you ended up creating points of view about living, or we'll say money, that were you adopted because that's what you learned. And then, but it's not you. It actually isn't your reality, it's your parents' reality. And so, if you were to move beyond, and there's all kinds of tools you can use to change that, um, that would allow you to move beyond the point of view that you've created that don't belong to you, that you've adopted. And then you start to create a reality that's actually yours. You know, it's like how you see the world, not how your mother saw the world or your father saw the world. It's actually more congruent with how you really are and see the world. And so from that, there's so many tools that you can use to start to get a sense of what is really true for you, because you can change and undo the points of view that you've acquired that don't belong to you.
Wow. Yeah. You need, maybe we need consciousness for that to start
That
asking
would be
questions.
true. That would be true. Because I was looking at this concept of consciousness recently, and how a lot of the world is walking around blind. And I know that sounds sort of unkind,
Yeah.
but because they don't have the tools, and their tools to become more conscious. And a lot of people don't even know what consciousness is, but basically at the very, very most simplest level, it's awareness. Well, people were spending their time walking into brick walls, trying to sort out their lives, creating challenges and stuff like that, because they are not aware about what it creates. They're not aware how much time they invest in living like that. And they're not really aware of how the world works.
Yeah. Wow. Wow.
So it's like how much, I was talking to somebody earlier today, like how much time do people use to undo the scenarios they've created that didn't work out for them because they were not aware?
Wow.
They weren't conscious. So if you just like put the two together just from a very pragmatic perspective. So if you would like to have living and have a world that your reality has more ease in it, to be more conscious actually starts to pull that in, so that when you're aware that you're going to do something that's not going to work for you, you kind of don't do it.
Mhm. Exactly. Yeah. Wow. Maybe you can start with the questions, like you said before. What else is possible here?
Yeah, that's a really great question. And because when you can see things from a different perspective, when you become more conscious and you become more aware, you will
Yeah.
see and perceive more choice.
It's so it's light and it is different. You create more, wow, possibilities, and you can see out from that small space. Yeah.
The small space. And what happens is when we get things that start to not work, right? Like everyone has moments where life isn't exactly going the way you would like it to. Just on can be even a daily basis. And then
Yeah.
what we do is we collapse our sense of possibilities, and we start to shrink and become less than who we are.
Yeah. It's
And
very common.
that creates a reality of I'm less, I don't know what to do with it, I can't handle it. And there's not a lot of sense of choice in that, because there's no space for you and there's
Mhm.
very few questions. So that, Daniela, is a great question to use when you're getting the sense that something needs to change.
Yeah.
So, what if you could share an idea um, with everybody about a scenario where you could change a reality with a question?
Yeah, we can think about professional experience job, for example, when you don't want to leave something that is not good for you anymore.
Hmm.
And you don't have to continue in that situation. You can ask questions. What else is possible here? Well, what else can I create with my experience that I already have? So when you are open without a view, judgment, and limitations, you can create something different. Yeah, because something like that happened to me. Yeah,
Okay.
I can now I can see if I uh, as I was open for new possibilities and asking question every day, because sometimes you going back to your your old version,
Yeah.
so you have to use the tools for create continue create.
Yeah, and asking a question actually changes the polarity of a scenario.
Exactly.
And so
Mm.
people think, "Oh, I just asked a question." Like, what's the point of asking a question? I could just go, "Oh, yeah. Hmm. What would it take to change this?" Okay, I'll just stop doing it. but it could be so many more things than that. It could be so many more possibilities that are available from a question. And when you ask the question, it changes the discordance that shows up and it invites more consciousness and contribution from the universe, even to into your world so that your life can have more ease with it.
Exactly. Wow.
So
Yeah.
a question can certainly change realities
A lot.
a lot. Did we say a lot? We said a lot.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. That's how easy um, it can be. Like it doesn't have to be a magic jump of into the quantum field to change something. It can be something very practical, like asking
Yeah.
a question, like what would it take to change this? It's quite remarkable what what can show up when you start asking questions.
Mhm.
And the more questions you ask, the more consciousness that you create.
This is a good tool, and a changing reality may not begin when the world changes. When you see that, when you believe that, so it begins when you choose to see the world differently, with new possibilities. Note new possibilities.
Mhm.
When you stop living in out of on autopilot, for example,
Mhm.
you take more responsibility for your choice.
Hmm. So that's so interesting. So when you just say that again, because I think I missed something.
Yeah, so internet, yeah, because when you begins believe, you can see the world differently,
Uh-huh.
you start to notice new possibilities, and you take the responsibility for your choices.
Okay.
And when you understand that, even if not everything is under your control, there is always a choice available, for example.
And that's true, you know. How and it's kind of interesting because once you get the sense that everything that shows up in your world, you have created in some way or another, it's very empowering. Because if you created it, you can always create something different and beyond it. It's not a, oh my God, this happened to me, and now what am I going to do? Which is helpless and doesn't really create anything, but it is a reality. That is a reality. This happened to me, and what am I going to do here? It's going to take me months to fix it. That is a reality.
Exactly. Yeah. I think the problem when the person that are with you, like your family, friends, in your jobs, continue saying that your reality is that, and you can't change it, especially your family, for example, because
Whoa,
big
family.
influence in your life. So you have to use the tools all the time. You have to believe in yourself, and you have to see. Uh, Maybe the word is hope. I like this word, hope. Hope. You put in your space that indifferent that your reality.
Yeah, and it's interesting because we can be around people who think that they can't change their the world. They can't change the world. This is the way it is, and this is the way that
Yeah.
it's fixed. However, what I know is that when you start to function differently, you function from you sort of look at the world like there's another possibility available. You ask questions, how could this be different? And it starts to create something different in other people's worlds. Now, some people may not perceive it, and other people, all of a sudden, they start to perceive possibilities differently. So just because they once said, you can't change that, there's no way, there can't be anything ever any differently. But by you being different and functioning from more questions and, wonder what it would take to change that, it starts to create something different in other people's worlds too. So they might have in that moment perceived it that it could never change. And then they maybe weeks later start to go, what doesn't even have to be weeks, could be days, weeks, hours, months, but all of a sudden they get a sense of a different possibility because of what you're choosing. Because you're choosing to have more questions. And questions break the solidity. Like what's
Exactly.
solid, the nothing can change, that's solid.
Mhm.
And questions start to make it crumble. So there's something different available, which then changes your reality and maybe other people's realities if they're willing to, not your problem necessarily. So, what questions could we ask today? So, with every episode, we bring cool questions to everybody about things that you could use in your life. And in this case, what is that we could ask people so that they could change their realities? What question do you have today?
Yeah, I think my question is, what reality are you continue to feed every day because you believe it can not be different?
Cool. Okay. Whew. What question could I ask? What are you choosing today that if you didn't choose it, that you chose beyond it, would create something that's way greater for you and more fun and joy and living?
Wow.
So, thank you everybody for joining us today on Viva Live. We'll see you next Wednesday. Have a great
Thank
one.
you. Bye-bye.